All right, Juveka, well, what we're expecting to happen here this morning is that there are going to be two official ceremonies. One is going to begin right up there by the statue. According to the program we've been given, we'll have the President of the Republic actually unveil that statue. And then there'll be a guard of honor accompanied by a 21-round gun salute and a fly past with the military helicopters, and the military band also having a whole display taking place by the statue before proceedings will then move down to the grounds, and that's where we're expecting an official ceremony to begin. That will be, of course, officials. That's where the ministers would be gathered. The president also then expected to give an address there at around 11 o'clock and just before noon this afternoon. But just to give us a bit more information on the actual structure of the statue, I'm joined now by Dali Tambo, and his company is actually the one that was mandated with building it. Juveka, Mr. Tambo, I mean, you know, what a great project to be in charge of. Tell us what work actually went into it.
A tremendous amount of work. First of all, it was the planning of the position of the statue. This is a very sensitive site. It's a heritage site, a national heritage site, and therefore one needed to make a very small impact, as small as possible. They're very particular about not moving a blade of grass or putting a nail in a wall, etc. So we had to plan it in such a way that the actual environmental and heritage impact was as small as possible. It did mean moving the Herzog figure, but as you can see, he's in a beautiful location, and that will be new location will be inaugurated next year. So it was about that, and what we wanted. Union Buildings has this semicircular amphitheatre type of structure, and so we want a beautiful symmetry. Yes. Created by Herbert Baker, and of course these terraces. So we wanted to fit in with that, and for the sculpture itself to be central in that embrace, if you like.
And let's speak about the sculpture itself. What were the specifications that you were given from officials, if any? What were they looking to get out of the frame that you have selected?
Well, we did a number of options for the president and for the minister and the officials. And the one they chose, thankfully, was this position. And, you know, it's beautiful, it's embracing, it speaks, and I guess this was their point. They wanted to represent Madiba at the point where he became president of the country, where he became our first democratically elected president, and in a sense the father of the new South Africa. So it wasn't about the struggle pose of Amandla. It was more about the unity of the nation, the coming together and the reconciliation and forward progress. So we believe that they took the right decision, and yes, it was and remains for me a very special statue.
Now, what went into actually constructing it? Tell us about the materials, how long it actually took you to get it to this figure that it is today.
Well, it was a bit of a rush job because but it was 147 parts in total to make up the statue. It was made at 3 different foundries around South Africa, brought together, assembled. But we went through processes of maquettes this size, maquettes that size, you know, ticking off approval from the minister and things like this. And eventually ended up with a 2.2 meter statue, from which we did this one. And yeah, it's been quite a process. Involved a lot of people. You know, people don't understand that it isn't just the sculptors, although we have 2 of the best in the country. There are heritage people, environmental impact people, as I said, but then so many other specialists in the foundries who do their bit to bring it together.
One of the criticisms that we've had for other statues that have been unveiled of Madiba is that they don't quite look like him. You know, his face is somewhat a bit out of proportion. Do you think that you were able to nail it in this instance?
Absolutely. We have a heritage expert called Sarah Haynes, who's worked on many things in the past, and my brief to her and to the sculptors was, this is the most famous face in the world. everybody knows exactly what this face looks like. So we can't deviate from the reality. And therefore we spent an enormous amount of time with the sculptors refining, and they would present again, we'd refine, present again, then we would have to present to our stakeholders. And eventually came the day when we said, that's him.
Are you feeling excited about today?
I'm very excited because I think it's filled with not just the ceremony. You know, we've had tremendous, in this last week, tremendous pageantry and tremendous national heritage has come to the fore, struggle heritage, etc. With the passing of Madiba, it's reminded us all of our journey. And I think this day is going to be charged with emotion and charged with a lot of applause and happiness because, in a sense, he's here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Mr.
Dali Tambo, just giving us insight into the structure of Madiba that is going to be unveiled later on this morning. Back to you in studio, Yuveka.